Widowmaker, the Sniper, the Throw Pick, the Hard Carry. Amelie Lacroix is all of these, a character that can win a fight with one shot and lose every fight if she doesn't hit one. The opportunity cost of picking Widowmaker can have a high variance, and this gives people pause when picking her, in fear that her propensity for failure will net them a loss and draw the ire of their teammates. But if you can get over this fear and click some heads, you'll never feel more alive. While Widowmaker is quite simple, it's not always easy to get value from her. Here I'll teach you how to find this value and put yourself in the best position to succeed.
Oh, let's break it down!
Now, when you want to play Widowmaker, let's first start in the menus before you even get in the game. You can adjust so many things in your player options in Overwatch, including of course your sensitivity, but let's assume you found one that you like for her. There's also your crosshair options. You can adjust length and opacity and many things to make it better for your personal feel. Then the next step in being more comfortable with playing Widowmaker is playing Widowmaker. But before we get in a match, let's use her in a more controlled environment. I suggest using this custom game mode right here. Here's the code on screen. You can use it for any character, and it's great for any kind of warm-up that you want to do. No cooldowns, no reloading, no damage coming at you, and a plethora of different characters moving around. Pick Widow and start getting a feel for her. There are two main ways of sniping as Widowmaker: tracking and flicking. In tracking, you are following their movement and anticipating when and where to best fire your shot. Flicking, you are quickly snapping your crosshair right to the enemy's head and firing. Every Widowmaker player mixes both of these kinds of sniping into their repertoire, but many try to concentrate on doing one more than the other. Pretty much every top Widowmaker in the world are flicking constantly. If you're amazing, why waste any time and just click the head, right? Makes sense. Now, of course, a lower sensitivity or using a controller will make flicking more difficult, but it's still something you're going to have to do at times to succeed. So try your hand at this custom mode. Get used to the rhythm of consecutive full charged shots, hitting a fast Lucio, hitting an Ana switching between walking and ADSing, Pharah and Echo flying, Zenyatta during his Alt-fire, Baptiste using his Exo boots, etc. See how many times you can kill a character in a row without missing. See how many headshots you can get in a row. Get that shot honed in to where you are just ready to get out there. It's also a great spot to practice getting the feel of grapple shots since you have no cooldown, but we'll get to that later. Now, we all know what maps Widowmaker is good on, but I made a tier list here. Now, don't take it as gospel, this is just how I play Widow. Your own list will be completely different. But if you're starting off, I think this is a decent place to start. The best maps, in my opinion, are first and foremost Junkertown, of course, with Point A being just so good for Widow that even if you swap off for the other 2 points, she can still make all the difference between winning and losing in that match. Circuit Royale is also fantastic all the way through. Havana is also right up there with Point A and C having multiple great spots for Widow, and Point B isn't exactly terrible either. Those are the 3 maps I'd recommend starting with, and once you get more comfortable, start mixing in other maps. You might even be fine playing Widow on all these maps right away. These are just really the only maps I feel good playing her in order of how likely I am to pick her and stay on her throughout, provided that I'm succeeding.
Widowmaker here.
Next up, let's start with starting the match. Now that you've found a map we like playing on Widow, how do we start? There are your usual obvious spots that you'll see Widowmaker come out of, and that's for a reason. These positions give you inherent advantages such as height to start your attack or defense. Usually, I do not pick these spots because those are where you are expected to be, and Widowmaker is most dangerous when you do not know where she is. There are some exceptions. Starting King's Row attack from the top window is truly just the best spot, but I recommend not making this obvious right away by just standing there for the enemy to see and prepare for. You don't want them to know until it's too late. Another thing to be cognizant of is Widow's footsteps. I can't tell you how many times I've known the enemy team had a Widow because of her footsteps, which just might be the loudest in the entire game and can be heard from absurd distances away, and it's quite distinct too. So try not to be loud when starting the game or when taking a new sneaky position, because those heals will give you away in no time. And no matter what door I come out of, if the enemy team will have an immediate line of sight on me as I exit that door, I will not exit that door right away. I give it a beat for a couple of reasons. Because I don't want to walk into an enemy Widow hardscoping that doorway at head height just waiting for me to come out. Instead, I wait a moment, give the enemy team no initial indication that a Widowmaker is coming their way, particularly if it's a common Widow map, and they can lower their guard. I also want to listen to learn if the enemy team has a Widowmaker of their own. I want them to look for the obvious Widow spot, not see me, then look at the rest of my team for a target. Then I come out, having heard their first shot giving away their position, and I'm ready to punish her with my own shot.
You have my attention.
The game has started, and we are off. So, how do we play Widowmaker? Just click heads, right? Well, yes, that is the idea. Not easy, otherwise everyone would play Widow. So the key is to making it easier. How do we make it easier? Well, the enemy does that work for you a lot of the time. The primary culprit? Jumping. If you're against a Widowmaker, the absolute worst thing you can do is jump. Jumping puts you in a fixed animation, making the Widow's job just so much easier. Because for the full duration of that jump, the third to half of a second that you're in the air, the Widow knows exactly where you're going to be for every single frame of that jumping animation. Left to right strafing or crouch spamming are much more unpredictable, as that player, even by sheer accident, has more agency in their movement than if they jump. So look for a jumping enemy, falling enemy, or any enemy stuck in an animation where you know their head placement is predictable. Find the easy shots and be patient and wait for them. The Ashe or the Ana aiming down sights, they can't kill you with one shot by themselves, but you can. The risk reward there is very much in your favor. Even if you miss your first shot but they connect, they still need a follow-up shot provided no exterior interference, whilst you still have a chance to win with a single shot. Finding the right kind of target is how you really make an impact on Widow. Ana and Zen are the only supports with zero movement abilities, making them easy targets when ADSing as Ana, doing a volley shot as Zen, or jumping and walking as they have no unpredictable movement. Someone thinking they're safe just because they came out of respawn or just chilling on the payload. Even a tank like Junker Queen or Ramatra outside of Nemesis form can be easy kill targets if they don't respect you. Anything you can kill in one shot will always be your best target for obvious reasons, but your value doesn't purely come from one shots. Two-shotting someone is just fine, so don't sweat it. As long as your ranged threat is being felt, it forces the opponent to play differently. They make switches to specifically combat you, they're forced to take a different path with more cover, forcing a choke where there otherwise isn't one, and best of all, tilting the opponent, making them argue and blame each other for letting the enemy Widow take over the game. And once you've done that, the game is already won.
Personne n'échappe à mon regard.
Now besides shooting with Widow's Kiss, there are 3 other things Widowmaker can do. Her cooldowns Venom Mine and Grapple, as well as her ultimate Infra-Sight. These parts of her kit are never really talked about because that's not the sexy part of her kit. They don't lead to many kills, and her ult is, while useful mostly just for her, undoubtedly the worst of all damage roll ults. And yes, I'm including High Noon. Fight me.
Caught in my web.
So let's start with the Venom Mine, the most ignored part of her kit. You'll even see most players hardly ever use it. But it's a cooldown and it does something useful, so I say, use it. Its main use is as an early warning system. Place it on a surface like a blind turn or where someone won't see it on a flanking route and you'll be warned of their impeding attack while applying damage to them, as well as giving their exact location away for all to see through any wall. Or even if they merely destroy it, you'll know that that area is no longer safe. You can also place it close by to do immediate damage against any would-be diver to deal free damage at the start of a fight that you'll already be at a disadvantage in. Or be like Widowmaker in the Alive short and drop it behind you as you're being pursued, or on you as a last-ditch effort to trade a fight as you yourself expire. Another big brain option you see many top Widows do, especially against another sniper, is to place it at head level to a corner you're peeking, as you can still snipe off the enemy's head while yours is covered by this makeshift one-time use shield. And sometimes it doesn't hurt to just chuck that thing right in the enemy all grouped up, hitting one or multiple targets for up to 75 damage over time.
Oh, Did that sting?
Next, there's the Grapple, Widowmaker's most important tool. Besides just merely using it to get to high ground quickly, this is Widow's best tool at maintaining that high kill per death rate. It's your one movement ability and escape option, as well as your best way to be aggressive. Once you've drawn the ire of your opponent and they try to rectify their past mistakes by diving right on you, the Grapple is great at heightening that frustration. Sure, you may not be able to do any damage, but you've drawn attention, and even more importantly, you can draw out their cooldowns. The Winston jumps right at your high ground. You escape by falling down to the low ground. The Winston pursues, and you grapple back up to a new or previous high ground, making them a jumpless monkey ready to be taken advantage of by you or more likely the rest of your team, forcing them to drop bubble as they wait for their jump pack to come off of cooldown and then escaping, having wasted all that time to not even kill you and maybe even dying for their troubles. Switching up where you are makes Widowmaker very dangerous. If you stay in the same spot, you might be flushed out, sniped, or no longer given those easy lines of sight. So when it benefits you to do so, switching up your location can make things easier for you to hit shots on someone looking the wrong way and frustrating your opponent even more.
Everyone dies.
Then of course, there's the Grapple Shot. Not part of the basic introductory Widowmaker's toolkit, but one you should assimilate into your arsenal as quickly as you can. It can take a while to practice, but it's a tool you'll need to improve your overall gameplay. Grapple shots are aggressive, often unpredictable to the enemy, and give them something else to worry about. As long as there's no enemy Widow, this tech puts you in little danger being up in the air and allows you to be a threat where no other character can be, granting you lines of sight the enemy is not thinking about or being on guard for. Against another Widow, they should be ready for this, and you'll often see at high level another key aspect to this shot is to quickly move your head around and down after firing your shot, thus not to expose your own head on your ascents down against another Widow. But depending on your sensitivity or input, this might not be as feasible for you as it might be for others. Grapple shots I find are not just useful as an aggressive option, but also as a tool when fleeing an enemy. Getting around a corner and then grappling up, surprising them as when they catch up to you, you aren't there, but high in the sky with instantly more range than before to allow you a more makeable shot, possibly the kill, or enough to win you the fight on a follow-up machine gun spray or teammate assistance.
The Widow's Kiss.
When should you snipe and when should you use the machine gun mode of Widow's Kiss? This should mostly be inherently intuitive. If a target is very low, the rapid fire is faster and easier to hit to finish them off. If you're in close proximity, however, there are decisions to be made depending on the situation. If they're right up on you and you have teammates around to help, using the machine gun mode to get guaranteed damage on target might be the best way to go, as others can help you kill that target. But if they are close, sometimes going for the snipe is the better option. If there simply isn't enough time to mow them down with automatic fire, then you should go with the charged snipe as it's your only option. Say they are running away, they have cover to play around, or if they simply can out-damage you in a duel with your automatic fire, then going for a close-up headshot is the only recourse you have left.
Infra-Sight is ready.
And last of all, we have Widowmaker's ultimate, Infra-Sight. Pretty self-explanatory, as it allows you to see enemies through walls and also gives away any cloaked Sombra's location. I like to use it when I know enemies are coming out of respawn. They typically have predictable pathing options and may disregard your ult because they didn't hear it when they were just respawning, or they don't think that you're that far up enough to take them out, as most fights don't happen that quickly out of spawn. It's also good to use when you're going on an aggressive flank. Their guards are down because they're expecting you to snipe from much further away, and a perpendicular headshot on a walking target can make things quite easy for you to line up. In the Widow 1v1, most players opt to hold onto their sights until the enemy Widow uses theirs, as to not let them have an advantage at any point, trading your opportunity to have sights up before they get theirs, but that's up to each individual. Playing Widowmaker is no easy task most of the time, but no character can do what she can. She's simple and straightforward mostly, but there is room for player expression and creativity. Finding cheeky lines of sight and spots to get to can open up fights and maps in ways others cannot to this degree. And of course, one of the main draws, one shot, one kill. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, let me know, or maybe subscribe to see future videos, and let me know if you want me to make these kinds of guides for other characters, and leave your suggestions down below. I can't do all of them, but I can do the majority.